Hey there, all my soul peeps. Excuse me. Angel of the Dawn, coming to you. Oh, it's darkening out. Okay. Coming to you more raw and real than usual. No makeup. My hair's all pulled back. But that's the point of this video, or kind of how I arrived at the point to make this video. So I guess I should give some background information first. Well, this could end up being a really long video because it actually involves a couple of different important topics or important points here. So my marriage of 20, well, it's now over 24 years that we've been married. Hold on, I'm trying to get the lighting back. Okay, maybe that'll work. And it blew up at 19 years, when we had been together for 19 years. Really badly blew up. And that sent me a spiral, really, downward spiral, I thought, but in essence, it wasn't, because it was like, it was a deep reflection time on myself and relationships, and just learning about me, what I, who I am, because because we had been together since I was 17 and he was 18, and we had 2 children. I always, defined myself as his wife and our children's mother. I've always been spiritual. I've always sought out spirituality and to know more, to learn more. But never to the level that is happening now. But again, I feel like that's divine orchestration or whatever. But my point of this video was to talk about how we grow and change, and we don't always right away realize it, or while it's in the process. And so today, or actually it was last night, that I originally realized that my hair, I don't know if you guys can see, can be pulled into a tiny little ponytail now. Granted, it didn't all fit in there yet, but that's not the point. Well, I'm about to tell you why that's such a big deal for me. So during this separation of my husband and I, which is also my DM, and during the separation, my anxiety and stress level became so great. And I realize now it was purging. A lot of purging. Like, I got rashes. My eyes broke out in like crazy rashes, and my face would be so swollen that I couldn't leave the house. Like, I couldn't even hardly see. Excuse me. But also during that time, I chopped off my hair. There we go. I had really long, naturally curly, beautiful hair. And matter of fact, going back to talking about my identity as being a mother and a wife, but not really having like a personal identity, my hair at the time, well, my whole life has been a huge part of my identity. And one morning, during a stressful time, I'm sure something was going on with my DM at the time. It has been off and on now for going on 5 years. Next month will be 5 years. And so I'm getting ready for work this morning that this happened, a couple of years ago now. But I'm getting ready for work this morning, and I'm sitting there, doing my hair and my makeup, getting ready for work. And I would trim my own hair and cut my own hair. I had done it a million times. And I used to always joke because I had naturally curly hair and it was so long and full and thick that, anybody could cut my hair and it wouldn't make a difference because you couldn't really tell. It would just curl up and you couldn't tell any mistakes. So I didn't mind cutting my own hair or anything like that. But this morning before work, I'm sitting there and, well, the best I can describe it is I just zoned out. And when I woke up from that zone out, I had cut off like really short, like a whole side of my hair. And all the way, like, you couldn't fix it. And at that time, it was probably when it had to be cut off, because I went then and had it professionally done. That's a long story. That's a whole other situation that isn't relevant, really. But it was cut to a certain length and probably kind of about where it's at now. Well, no, the bangs and things, not at all. It was longer in the back than it was in the front and on the top, and at the time. And it eventually grew out to, I don't know, almost shoulder length again. And I don't think that I had really, during that time, I hadn't cut it. Like, I cut it, and then I let it grow, and it got to, just right above my shoulders, I guess. And then I started going through what I can only describe as the dark night of the soul. And so I ended up cutting my hair like so super, super short on a regular occasion and not on purpose. Like, I would cry afterwards and I would hate it. But what it did was it forced me to withdraw from society because, my hair was such a big part of me, of my identity and who I was, that I couldn't be seen out in public with no hair, and I didn't want to go anywhere or do anything. I don't now, but for totally different reasons. But at the time, I wanted to go out. I wanted to forget about everything that was happening with my marriage separation and what was going on, with my kids, because all of a sudden, I'm not living with my husband or my kids. My daughter went off to college at the time. My son ended up moving in with his father because it was more financially stable at his father's house. Because I had predominantly been a stay-at-home mom our entire marriage. I only worked when necessary or when I wanted to. And so I was going through these heavy, heavy purging cycles at least every month. If not like every 2 weeks, at least every month. And I would, again, zone out. Like, I would get my hair to a point where I thought, because I'm talking, my hair was like this short all over my head. Just so short. And I hated it. But like I said, it kept me in the house. It put me in a reflective state big time. And every time, I would purge a little bit more, I would come out a little deeper. And I think the last time I really cut my hair was in January, I think, of 2018. Maybe February. I'm not quite sure. I'm not real sure. It could have even been March, I guess. It was the beginning part of last year. Yeah, I can't remember for sure. So this is how long it's gotten. Now that brings me back to the original point of the story about how a lot of times we change and we grow and hit major milestones, and sometimes we don't even realize it. My hair has been growing, and because I have moved out of the heavy purging, I haven't cut it, and I haven't paid attention because, like, hair ties and scrunchies and things like that has been not even a thought in my head because, why? I don't have any hair, And so last night, I was, I don't know, running my fingers through my hair or whatever, and I realized that it's long enough to put into a ponytail. I mean, like the saddest little ponytail, but still, that is such huge progress for my hair, and it's been growing, and I haven't even really paid it any attention. Because now that the deep purging is hopefully over. It was just something that was happening naturally. Like, I feel we, grow and change and hit new levels naturally. And we don't always notice. We don't always pay attention. So I guess I really am making this video to let everybody know that we all go through really, really hard times. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be super hard times, but make sure you're giving yourself credit for the learning and growing and integration that does take place, because sometimes we feel like our quote unquote end goal is so far away, and we just beat ourselves up for not being there, not being at whatever magical point that we think that we're supposed to hit. And we don't give ourselves enough credence and credit for all of the things that we overcome every single day. Like, every day that you wake up, I believe that you have probably overcome or learned or, something. Even if it's so small. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Crow. And Brandon Lee says, Shelley, or I used to think that, I can't remember the exact wording. I used to think that little things were trivial or something like that. Or Shelley said that nothing's trivial. Now I can't even remember, and I can't believe that. But anyways, the little things add up, and we've got to be grateful for even the little things, even a little sad ponytail, because that is such a milestone in my life. Like, because like I said, I did not want to cut my hair. It's so crazy how it all ever happened. Like, I would be standing in the mirror, probably just blow drying my hair, and then think that this one piece was too long or too short, whatever, is out of place. And I was going to fix it. And so I would cut off a little bit, and then I would be like, oh no, now this piece, I got to fix this piece because now it don't flow. And I'm a very spatial person. Everything has to be, I don't know, that's hard to explain to you. So anyways, it would progress in such a way that I would be standing in the mirror for hours and not even realize what I was doing. Like, one minute I would have some hair, and the next minute, practically bald, you know, hardly no hair at all. And so, weirdly enough, that I feel like that was my higher self and my unconscious cutting away these thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Because I would literally go into a trance state and really have no idea what was transpiring in those time frames. And then I would cry and cry about my hair afterwards, you know, after it happened. So it was just purging on purging. I was cutting off all my hair, and I got a lot of flipping hair. Like, even as it's short, it still takes forever for me to blow dry it because it's so thick. Just layers upon layers upon layers. But yeah, so, I don't know. I don't know if that was all I was supposed to say about that or not, but I just wanted to share that because it occurred to me today that we don't always give ourselves credit for, we don't even always notice. We need to make sure that we're paying attention to all of the little things and all of the progress that's being made, you know, every little step, because we need that positivity. We are going through such a drastic change in our lives that we need any of the attaboys and good jobs and pats on the back that we can get. And from ourselves is the most important, because that's not what we're taught. We're taught to need everybody else's approval and pats on the back. We've got to learn to be grateful and give ourselves pats on the back for all of these little milestones that we make. Because they're not really little. They're huge in the grand scheme of things. They just don't seem like it because you don't see the end result or the place you want to be right then and there. But if these little things don't happen, the big things can never ever happen. I just heard you can't pave a walkway with just one cobblestone, you know, one large cobblestone. I mean, you can, if you use cement, but even still, that's, you know, that's beside the point. That wasn't what I got. The message was, you know, cobblestones, it takes a whole lot of cobblestones to build a path. And so, and plus the cement path isn't near as pretty as a cobblestone path. I kind of feel like the cement path is the path that is like the 3D matrix, and like it's already laid out for you, and it's not very pretty, but it's easy enough to follow. Yeah, so I guess I've talked enough. I hope this makes sense to some of you guys out there. I hope this helps. And that's just a little bit of my story, that it's time, you know, I try to get out a little piece here and there, whenever it's relevant. So this is Angel of the Dawn saying peace, love, and light out. Until next time.